Hi guys, welcome to the video. Let's try this again. Last time there was no sound. So this is the second video where we're talking about this palette. So in part one, we're kind of going through how I set it up, my thought process kind of about the palette, and we actually take it out and use it. So today let's just look at what I actually put into the palette. So you can see the first thing I always like to do is to use the page to sketch out some of my emblems. So try something else on the page. Oh, that's Millie wanting to come in. A moment. Okay, some music for you while I get Millie, but she actually didn't want to come in. She wants me to go out with her, so we might hear from her again. We'll see. But so you can see there that even when I am taking the palette outside, I don't use a mister. I always just use my brush to wet the paints that I think I'm going to use, and I just really enjoy that. It helps you learn brush control. And so the first paint here that we're swatching was the Winsor & Newton Potter's Pink. I kind of use it as a neutral and to kind of mute things, to give things a little bit of a pink tinge. And then this one here is here we go. This one is the Daniel Smith Mayan Red. This is a beautiful kind of a strawberry red. This one is the Holbein Opera Rose. I feel like Rosie's now chewing. I think it's a bit of a zoo this morning. So, okay, this is, so yeah, this is actually a gouache, only because I just didn't have any of the watercolor left, and I'd bought that at some stage. So this one here is the Daniel Smith Organic Vermillion. It's a beautiful... Okay, I just waited so you didn't have to hear the chewing. I feel like as soon as I start editing, every pet needs something. But okay, so yeah, this is a beautiful, like a red orange. So yeah, very nice. And then this one is the Daniel Smith Pyrrol Orange. So fairly similar, like you could mix the this orange with the red to get kind of the Organic Vermillion, but I really like having the opportunity, and especially because this palette is so lightweight and you know it holds so many colors. That's what I really like about it, so that I don't have to like mix and mix. I have something already similar to what I'm looking for, which is really helpful. And then this one here is the Daniel Smith French Ochre. Again, I love this one. It's light and airy as an ochre, so it's not going to muddy up the colors, but really nice to mix with This one here is Daniel Smith Indian Yellow. This is a beautiful colour. It's mixed with, one of the pigments is Nicolazo, and that's a very kind of strong staining colour. It has a high flow, so it's a little bit difficult to control, and I don't kind of use it for that. So this is, this one here is Winsor & Newton Cadmium Free Lemon Yellow. So I usually prefer to mix my own kind of warmer yellows with this one and the French Ochre, or with the Sedona, which we'll mix in a minute, kind of like a burnt sienna. Yeah. This one here is Holbein Shell Pink, and again, I really like mixing this with a lot of the neutrals, which we'll see also with the Potter's Pink or the French Ochre. And I like having brighter colours, some brighter colours and some kind of really specific neutrals that I've found to help kind of mute those brighter colours to exactly the way that I want it, or the way that I feel like the light would be nicer in that situation. So rather than buying kind of a more muted colour, yeah, I can mute it with different browns, different, warmer ones, cooler ones, and that kind of thing. So the one that we just did is Daniel Smith Burnt Tiger's Eye, and then this one is Daniel Smith Van Dyck Brown. So it's a darker brown, and I really love these two. They're quite moody colours and almost kind of have that Old Masters quality about the paint. This one here is Daniel Smith Roasted French Ochre. So this would probably be a little bit similar to a burnt sienna, but it has a bit more granulation, a bit more texture in it. And then this one is Daniel Smith Sedona. I love this one. It's quite a pink version of burnt sienna. So when you mix this with white, it becomes a really beautiful kind of muted peach kind of colour. And this one is White Nights. This is Mocha, so it's a really, really gorgeous one. It's kind of a very creamy, kind of a taupe brown, taupe leaning brown. It's really, really a beautiful one. I've been wanting to put this in a palette for a while and quite thinking about it, but I didn't really have a palette that it fit in, so I'm actually really glad to have it in this palette, and I've already used it quite a bit. So here you can see the colours as like they've dried, and again, like I love the texture, and I often will choose a pigment either for its transparent quality, or it's the kind of texture it brings, or just because it's a beautiful colour like shell pink. I don't mind some opaque colours like the Mocha or the shell pink, as long as they're really pretty ones. And then this one is Daniel Smith Indigo. This is a really beautiful version of Indigo. I've tried so when I first started, I tried so many dot cards and swatches, and really trying to get to colours that I really liked and wanted to use. And so you'll see that like over the time of the channel, a lot of these haven't changed, because in the beginning I really did a lot to try and find colours that I really enjoyed. So this one here is Smalt. This is Winsor & Newton Smalt. It's kind of a purple leaning version of an ultramarine. It's really a pretty one. This one is Daniel Smith Lapis Lazuli. It's quite a soft blue, and again it's got some of that texture, and it's really, really nice one to use in skies and kind of mix with other things, and you get some really interesting kind of granular patterns come out of it when you paint with it. It's really nice. So this one here is Sugilite. This is Daniel Smith as well. And I'll list all these below, but this one is one of the first ones that I bought, and I still love it. So this is the kind of thing that I recommend, like if you are creating a palette, there's going to be lots of different advice and ideas on, limiting your palette, or you know, why to choose this color or that color. Even from me, like I specifically kind of gravitate towards things for what I'm looking for. But it's really important for you to figure out what colors you like to use, and that's you'll really you'll enjoy picking up the color. So it doesn't have to be a certain way, is what I'm trying to say. It can be the way that you need the palette tailored to your needs. Even if that's just putting colors in that you really like, you know. So when I almost didn't start watercolor because I was hearing so much advice about these are the only colors you should have. You should have a mixing blue, a mixing, you know, a warm and cool and all these things. And I really wanted other colors. And the interesting thing, so this was Daniel Smith Raw Umber Violet. But it's really interesting. It's kind of like a Caput Mortuum or something. And this one here is going to be Holbein Lilac. But it's really interesting, you know, if you look at every different like channel or different artist, everyone does have a different palette. And so hopefully that will show you that, you know, it's okay to have your own. Like I've posted videos before and gotten questions like, can I supplement this color for something that I've shown on the channel? Absolutely. Like the palette is so personal, and that's really the only way that you're going to enjoy painting, is to have colors that you really like in your palette. So, or at least that's, you know, from my experience. And it is helpful to listen to all kinds of different advice, because you learn quite a lot about colors and maybe why they might be useful or not. So sorry, we did the Schmincke Cobalt Turquoise, Daniel Smith Fuchsite, which is again one of my favorites, and then this is the Sennelier Emerald Green. Again, you can see like two minty colors. One is sparkly and one is just a beautiful color. So yeah, there's definitely, this one is Holbein Compose Green. So there's, you know, definitely a lot of value in learning about colors. But if you feel like it's not right for your palette at the moment, like I would always hear about buff titanium, and it actually took me quite a few years to realize how I could use that in my palette. So yeah, just go at, you know, how you feel with the colors that you think would be good at the time. This is Isaro Chartreuse, which I also really like Daniel Smith Green Gold and Holbein Leaf Green as well. But that's just the one I happened to have. Again, like I'm just kind of using what I had in my box there. Some of them were almost run out or just haven't been used that much. So yeah. This one here is Daniel Smith Terra Vert, and this is like kind of a viridian. So see like the emerald green, if you mix that with one of the browns on the other page, that's kind of what you'll get. And yeah, it's a really beautiful one. We use it a lot in the landscape class coming up. So this one here is Schmincke Pyrrol Green. Again, a really beautiful one. And this one, it took me a while to actually put on a palette, and now I find it really useful. So yeah, kind of take everything with a grain of salt and then kind of adapt it to how, you know, what your needs are. What your subject is might be as different as well. So yeah. This one here is Daniel Smith Greenish Raw Umber. So you could add a little bit of a like a green and a brown together to get that kind of thing. But again, I just really like having that pre-mixed there. So especially when you're painting on plein air, you want to have kind of some, you know, readily mixed things that are quite just handy to have. This one here is W&N Davys Grey, and it's a beautiful kind of a sage green, and I really like that for like underpainting as well. Like you can kind of sketch in what you're going to paint with that, and it just gives the painting a really nice layering there. So yeah, that's all the colors dry. You can see very beautiful yeah, I love, did I mention the Daniel Smith Purpurite? I think I might have missed that one. So again, I will list all these in the order that we swatched them underneath, so you can kind of figure that out a little bit better if I haven't been clear enough. Yeah, so that is everything. I hope you enjoyed it, and the best tip I can give you for creating a palette is to consolidate all the information that you have kind of gathered, and then just kind of pare that down to what you would really enjoy as well. So what you think will mix well, what you'd enjoy painting with, and then you'll have a really beautiful palette suited to your needs. So here is a little bit, the footage for some reason in some of the footage in the last video was a bit blown out, so you can see this is a little bit more what it looks like in real life. Anyway, I will see you guys soon. Bye.